Hello, fellow traders. Tis I, the Rumpled One, coming to you on Thursday, July the 14th, the year's 2022. Let's talk trading. Nothing to fear, part 4 with Walmal. These videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine and differ from Walmal's. It's funny how I guess the universe sometimes likes to work with you as opposed to against you. And I just received an email that talked about fear, and it's pretty good, I think, because it says there's a three-step process to deal with your fears. And the first step is to examine the root cause of your fear and what are you worried about. And this isn't about trading, so I'm going to make it for trading. What are you worried about the most in trading if you don't do well? Well, I mean, I think for most of us, the obvious answer is losing money, because in trading there's really not too many bad things that can happen to us. So it's basically fear of losing money. So two, understand how your fear has affected your performance. How does fear change your performance? Do you perform tight or over control? Well, the answer would be yes. I mean, I think, you would hesitate. You got your signal, but for whatever reason, you don't take it. Why? You're afraid. Why? Because you remember sometime, maybe it was the last time, maybe it was 10 times ago, you got in a trade and it bit you. Well, that's part of trading. So if you can't handle getting bit every now and then, you've got to re-examine what you're doing and why you're doing it, because that's part of trading. And then number three is discover how to address your fear head on. It says most fears are irrational for traders. Can you uncover any irrational thinking about your fear? It's like, yeah, the brokers are out to get me. Every time I move my stop loss to break even +1 or +2, they come back and take out my stop. I mean, do I really think that the brokers care about my, one micro lot trade or one mini lot trade or one lot trade or some 10 lot trade? Do you really think they care about it? So, maybe looking at those three steps might help you as a trader to overcome your fear. Walmart, what do you think about those three steps?
Yeah, I was actually saying the first step. Can you repeat that first line again?
It
I
says,
just want to.
examine the root causes of your fear. What are you worried about the most in trading if you don't do well?
Right. And the thing is, you say your fear of losing money. I'd say for me in the beginning was that because I was doing this and I had made the decision I was going to go and do this to go and make a living out of it. And my biggest fear was, can I actually go and do this? Will I make enough money to be able to support me and my family? And that was my big fear. And that drove me, until I conquered that fear, it caused me to make a lot of, mistakes, because of jumping out too early, not taking trades, being very, very fear. Now, of course, it all goes back to what you said, the fear of not making, a fear of losing money. But, for me, though, it was like, man, that thing, it drove me nuts for a while there. And it really caused me to go make some poor decisions, which really jumps into that. I think the second thing that you were talking about, how does it affect what you're doing?
Right.
You know, and yeah, I mean, I'm just talking from personal experience. It caused me some things where, and the funny thing was I was doing things and I was always at break even. And I went through a period of 2-3 years where I was winning a lot and I was losing a lot all at the same time, and it would just seem like I was just constantly in this ebb and flow of back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, not getting anywhere, and just, and I really had to go and examine myself. And I know there's some people that going out, all you guys talk about is psychology, all you guys talk about is the emotion. And, I'm going to go right back to at that and say, yeah, we talk about that because that's what causes you not to take the trade you should take that would have gone and, bankrolled your account. Or from the other point of view, or from the other side of it, it's like that's the thing that causes you to jump out too early, or to jump out or not jump out because of greed, I'm going to make more, and then the thing flashes against you, and you lose everything that you had on the table, or worse than that, I'm not going to jump out because I can't afford to lose this trade. I mean, I've seen people do that and sitting there, their stop says that I need to get out, at like we're looking right now at the chart, I need to go and get out at 30, and I'm assuming that was in a long, and it goes down to 30, and then it goes down to 25, and then it goes down to 20. Meanwhile, I was supposed to get out at 30, and the next thing you know, your count goes on till, and it all comes down to that fear, and the fear can drive you not to go and do what you're supposed to do, and I talk a lot about, you got to have a plan. Without a plan, you're doomed to fail. Well, the second part of that, though, is you need to go and follow the plan. You need to have the discipline to follow the plan. And you need to go and find a way to go and take that emotion, that fear off the table. And like we said, like yesterday or the day before, I don't recall which day it was, Tierra, but we talked about, taking that fear and looking at it as a form of excitement,
Yeah.
and it's sort of like, it can be, believe it or not, I can go and take a trade, take a loss on it, and still be excited about the trade because I did everything right. And that's what I got to do. I got to go and say, okay, I did everything right. I minimized how much I lost here. I'm still in the game. Let's come on. So if we're playing baseball, come on. I'm waiting for that next at bat so I can get back behind the plate again, and take that next opportunity to go and hit the ball and get on base, or even get lucky enough to go and hit a home run. And that's how for me anyway, that's what caused me to go from someone who was back and forth for a number of years, and to finally was able to go and say, hey, I can actually make some money doing this. This is working out.
Yeah, it's interesting because right before we started this video, I had jumped in a trade, and it was based on I was looking at the range, and I said, "Hey, this thing's got to move." And I jumped in the trade, and it immediately spiked up. I think I was up like 4 or 5 pips. And whenever something spikes like that, I immediately punch out. And the thing is, I hit the exit button, and it already took back 2 pips, and I was so like, "You bastards!" But the thing is, getting into the trade, I was looking to pop it for just a couple of pips. But when it really went in my direction, it was like, yeah, cha-ching. But it was
Yeah.
like, nope. So the thing is, it's like, was it a fear that made me exit? It was like, no, that was just one of the rules I've had based on experience, because yeah, sometimes it'll pop and it'll keep going, but for me that's usually not the case. It's almost like seeing that one ball. If I see a one ball ahead of me, that's like a stop sign. That means get out, because yes, it could go more, but it's happened enough times that I'm up 5 pips, and the next thing you know, I'm down two off of a one ball or a spike like that. So
Yep.
and so that's one of the things about fear. It's like, so when that happens, I'm not afraid that it's going to go against me. What I'm doing is, it's like, hey, it went for me. I'm going to get out and get whatever I can. And, there'll be another trade, because how often do you get in a trade and it immediately goes in your direction? I mean, some people
Right.
say, yeah, it never goes against them, but that's usually
Yeah.
not the case.
I want to see what they're doing, and I want to be on their broker. Because
Yeah.
I mean, you saw me. I jumped into a trade before, and I said I got into the trade, and it was down when it was down below, where it's at now, and it was funny because I think I tried to jump in at uh, like 20 or 23 or something like that.
Yeah,
It put
well,
me in at
yeah,
25.
yeah,
It's like, it's sort of like, bam, it already went against me, and I didn't do anything other than press the button,
yeah.
and,
Because I was gonna say what I've seen happen to me. Like, I always call myself Mr. Inflection Point, and it's something where Normally I'm looking at 1 minute candles. And what'll happen a lot of times is you go in, you get into a trade, say like right here, and when you hit buy, it puts you in at the very top of the candle, or maybe within a point or two, and then the next thing you know, it reverses on you, and it's like there's almost nothing you can do there. So like, look at what just
Right.
happened here. It went through the Walmal line at 30, went through the previous high at 32, and it's sitting at 34 right now. I mean, you could have 2 or 4 pips right there. And the
Right.
question
Depending
is,
on where,
yeah.
depending on which trade you took. Yeah,
Yeah, and you see how it
absolutely.
just slammed back down, and that's one of the things where if you just look at the chart, you can go, yeah, this thing goes up and down, but what you can't see is within that candle how much it's gone up and down.
Yeah, and that's it's funny because that's one of the bad things about we were talking about analog and digital before. Essentially, you got to remember that these candles are digital candles. They're not analog candles. So you're not seeing all of the movements. What you're seeing is a compression of the data. And so, it's sort of like when you're looking back at things, that's the disadvantage of having using candles because it's not going and trending. Now the thing is, even if you use line charts and whatever, it doesn't make any difference because the line charts only go and report based on those same those same points, meaning a high, low, close, and open. But the thing is, if you had a tick chart, that'd be really nice. But you know, we're not a bank, and we don't have the $1 million to give them to to allow us to go and use their tick charts.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so once again, that Walmart trade, you know, I gave you an opportunity to get in at 30 and get out at 34. What was the high there? Actually 35. So there's a 5 pip window and it's already moved back. So for
yeah,
those traders out there, the day traders, the scalpers, whatever you want to call yourself, you have to take those profits off the table quickly. And that's why when people laugh at Walter and I, when we talk about, making a pip or two, they like to poo poo it. But the thing is, you can make a living off of that, right, Walmall?
oh yeah, you
And
absolutely can. I mean,
and here we
I've been
go
trading it.
again. Here's another
Yeah,
opportunity. Did you take that trade?
no, I did not
You
because
didn't.
I got out of that trade. Remember, if you remember, Tiro, I went into a trade right before we got on the call, so I just managed my way out of it. So, I managed my way out. I made some good money on it, but the thing is, I had to manage my way out. So to be honest with you, I for me and every trade is different. I get tired after having to manage it out. My brain gets tired. I'm not as sharp. So usually, if I have to go and manage my way out of a trade, I usually take a break for a few minutes, and it just goes and allows me to settle back in, reevaluate my plan, look at the trades that I took. Did I make any mistakes? What could I have done better? What was because of market movement and just can't do anything about it, and the reason why I bring that all up, in addition to just your question, but is because that helps me manage my fear as well, because that keeps me on my game as to whether or not I'm actually trading properly. If I'm trading properly, I know in the long haul I'm going to make money. If I'm not trading properly, then I need to stop and figure out what I'm doing or why I'm doing it. And by doing that, there's no fear anymore because I'm following a game plan. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm executing. It's funny. I watched that movie Sully. Where he took his plane down into the Hudson River. Back in probably a decade or more ago.
Guess what?
And one of the things that we're out of time.
Yeah, yeah, the fastest 15 minutes in trading is out. Hey, and one thing we'll have to remember is we'll have to talk about managing your way out of a trade. I think the boys and girls and non-binaries might like that. So remember, fear. Why, what's the fear? What fear do you have? What's the cause? And understand how it affects your performance, and then figure out how you can stop it, because it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is the Rumpled One, over and out.